Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Kratos defense and security solutions. This was a stock analysis request from one of the followers and I wanted to let you know that anyone can make these requests and I will most likely cover them, especially if there is an actionable trade setup to follow. Now in the case of this chart, we are tracking an overall downtrend, which is generally not a good sign, but we have only a three-wave structure to the downside, and not only that, we actually broke above what could still be allowed for continuation in a fifth wave to the downside in this area. So there is a good chance that this entire downtrend has actually completed, and in fact I am actually quite optimistic on this structure working out to the upside to the point where we might be creating a very large and strong third wave in this area in a pretty direct fashion actually. Now we are in some area of structural resistance to the point where we might see a little bit of a reversal over the coming levels, but I don't necessarily expect those to be too deep or too strong. I am still favoring a pretty direct continuation to the upside in this area, and we do have a larger area of resistance that could create a more significant retracement, but we still are quite far away from it. We still need to basically double the price to even reach it. Now, to discuss this movement to the upside, this uptrend that we are tracking, I am looking to form an impulse to the upside. Now, there is no confirmation that this is developing as an impulse. In fact, this could actually be a 1, 2, and then this could be the third wave to the upside, where this could be an ABC structure developing. And however, even in that case, within this wave C to the upside, I do have expectations of quite strong pushes, quite strong price action, and still very reliable. Or maybe not reliable, but I'm still very optimistic on this movement to the upside. However, for now, in this area, I am really tracking a running flat correction within this wave 2, where we had an A wave down, an overshooting wave B, and then a wave C to the downside. And technically, I would have liked to count this as a double 1, 2, 1, 2 setup, but this movement to the upside does have a very convincing three-wave structure look. So yeah, I am pretty comfortable with considering this as a simple 1, 2, and then this would be the area where we would be in a third wave to the upside. And yeah, within this wave 3, we can go briefly through this initial movement to the upside, where honestly I am looking at this as probably a series of 1, 2 setups that occurred in this area, and many ways we could actually count it. I'm not going for anything too specific. To be honest, it doesn't really matter at this point, because I believe we still have a lot to work through within this specific area. So yeah, I'm looking at a simple series of different ways to actually count these 1, 2 setups that are occurring in this area. But yeah, many of them seem to be diagonal patterns, some of them not. Doesn't really matter. And yeah, in the end, I am looking at the internal third wave that is developing in this area, where based on the RSI, I might even lead with the fact that this third wave may be in the very middle of its structure, where instead of having the most of it built, I could consider most of it just a series of 1, 2 setups that has occurred in this area, and then this could be the first wave 3 to the upside to develop. But for this to work out, I do need it to reach a certain extension level within this wave 3 for this 1, 2 setup to be a valid interpretation. And unless it is the case, even though the RSI does suggest that yeah, we are right now in the third wave to the upside, sometimes the wave 5 is the most impulsive instead of the wave 3. It does happen, not something I would consider lightly. I will always track the third wave to be the most impulsive, but at times this can be the case, and yeah, in that scenario we would have probably just another 4-5 pattern, and then possibly another larger correction to the downside, where yeah, this would be basically the internal wave 3, where we would still expect still much higher prices, but with this wave 3 we would already be within the series of 4 or 5 patterns that would basically end this movement to the upside. Now, not my preferred interpretation. Momentarily I am still looking for something more bullish, and I even have here some counts that I want to present within this area. Basically, I went through the trouble of adding the counts for what I presented here as the series of 1-2 setups that are occurring. And in this case, what I was mentioning about the extensions is that this 1-2 setup expects a third wave to reach the 138.2% extension at the $145 level. And if we actually fail to reach that, I would be quite inclined to believe that, yeah, maybe this is really developing just as a simple wave 5 and that this was the actual wave 3. Now, that doesn't need to be the case. It could, other counts could work out, but let's just say I would prefer for this to actually reach that level, to have a clear structure and have a clear path towards, yeah, new all-time highs. But overall, within this 1-2 and then, yeah, within this wave 3, I am still expecting quite high, very high extensions, to the point where, yeah, on the large time frame for such a 1-2 setup, I would be looking normally at the 138.2% extension. But based on how this movement has so far developed, I believe we can surpass that very, very extensively, to the point where, yeah, we probably may even surpass the 200%. Not calling that, but based on the internal structure within this wave 3, if it manages to work out as an impulse, that could be the case. Now, internally, within this actual wave 3, where on the RSI, yeah, we may have an internal third wave developing here, where this is 1, this is a 2, a third wave up, a fourth wave down, and then possibly a series of 4 or 5 patterns. It is pretty difficult to determine, and that is quite common within internal wave 3s of such massive proportions. So this is basically the third wave of a third wave of so on and so on. You have seen how many series of 1-2 setups I have actually drawn on the chart. That is a very realistic expectation for this, and it is common not to have a clear count within such wave 3s. So I would be prepared for anything. Personally, I could still see this fifth wave extending, but I am quite prepared for it to have at least a local top. And in that case, I might look here for another 1-2 setup to receive a 4-5 pattern to have this entire wave 3 complete. And for that, I would be looking for support in the area between the $88 all the way down to the $78 level. Now, I won't count the exact development within this wave 5. I could see still this as a 1-2, maybe this is a third wave, and then we get the fourth and the fifth. Not very clear. Could be the case. If you really are interested in the closest area, I would even consider entering for a pullback in the wave 4. You could be looking at the $94 level, and it goes all the way down to the 90, or sorry, did I say the 90? The $94 level, and it goes all the way down to the $90 level. But then, even if we break that, I wouldn't really be too concerned, because we have this larger support zone to provide, yeah, backup much lower, and yeah, it goes to much lower prices. And if we actually break below the $78, and maybe not even that, maybe I can drag this a little lower for the full count of this wave 3. Yeah, so basically the $77.6 level would be an area of concern where, yeah, if we actually break that within this correction in the wave 4, we may be failing this structure that is building to the upside. We could track a different count, but it will probably not work out as the actual wave 3. There could still technically be a possibility of this being another 1-2 setup in that case, but that does seem quite unrealistic to me, and it's not something that I will focus on. So the main area I would be looking for an entry is this area for a wave 4 between the $87.8 level all the way down to the $77.6 level. There are levels above this that could provide support and allow for direct continuation to the upside, but then I would personally just watch, just stay away, and basically move up the support zone as it pushes higher and wait for the deeper and clearer pullback that would allow a more reliable entry basically. And for now, these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.